If you've ever stared at a performance report and just seen a number, you know deep down there's a much bigger story hiding behind it. Well, today we're going to uncover that story. We're going to explore how we can transform that dry data from a simple grade into a powerful tool for growth, moving from metrics to real human-centered meaning.
Hello and welcome. As a hotel AI expert, I've spent years deep in the data that drives our industry. But what I've learned is that the numbers on a screen, they're only half the story. The other half, the one that really matters, is human. I'm so excited to explore that with all of you, the students of Europe Hotel School, because truly understanding this is what will set you apart as future leaders.
All right, so here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start by tackling the data dilemma. Then we'll see how coaching builds that crucial human connection. After that, we'll dissect what a great coaching conversation actually looks like, build it all on a foundation of trust, and finally, see how it all pulls together to create a true culture of growth. Okay, let's dive right in. Look, every modern hotel runs on data. We track everything you can imagine, from occupancy rates to guest satisfaction. But there's a real dilemma hidden inside all those spreadsheets and dashboards. So imagine you see this on a report, an 82% guest satisfaction score. Now on the surface, you might think, hey, 82%, not bad. But let's pause and think about it. What does this number really tell you? It tells you what happened, sure, the final score. But that's where the information just stops cold. Right? What's the story here? What does that 82% actually mean for the team at the front desk day to day? What specific interactions in the restaurant led to that score? And most importantly, how in the world can they make it better? The number itself doesn't give them a roadmap. Not at all. And that right there is the heart of the problem. Performance metrics can feel so abstract. They might tell a manager what happened, but they almost never tell a team member why it happened or what they can actually do differently on their next shift. And that's exactly where the human element has to come in. So how do we fix this? How do we bridge that gap? Well, this is where coaching enters the picture. It's the absolute essential link that turns that cold, impersonal data into a personal, meaningful conversation about growth. Just think about it this way. On one side, you've got your abstract performance data. That's the what. But on the other side, you have a coaching dialogue. And this is where the magic happens. It's insightful, it's personal, it's where you finally uncover the why behind the number and the how to move forward. To put it simply, coaching is the engine that transforms performance data into meaningful professional growth. It's the process that gives all those numbers a purpose beyond just measurement. It turns them into a clear path forward for an employee's development. Now, this is so critical to get right. The purpose of coaching is not to judge performance, it's to support development. When an employee truly knows you're invested in their success, feedback stops feeling like criticism and starts feeling like helpful guidance. That one shift in mindset changes everything. It creates a safe space to be curious, to try new things, and not be afraid to fail. Okay, so we get why coaching is so important. But now, let's get practical. Let's break down how to actually do it. What does a great coaching conversation really look and sound like? It really boils down to these 4 key actions. You have to start by listening, and I mean really listening. Then, you ask powerful questions that make the other person think. Third, you keep the conversation focused on specific behaviors, things you can actually see and talk about. And finally, you work together to explore different ways of handling things. Now, this is a classic mistake a lot of new managers make. Your first instinct is probably to just jump in and start giving advice, but you have to resist that urge. You'll find that the most valuable insights come directly from the employee themselves. I mean, they're the ones on the front lines every single day. By just listening first, you'll uncover challenges and opportunities that no report could ever show you. And here's a pro tip for keeping feedback constructive: focus on behavior, not on personality. So instead of saying something like, you seemed unconfident, which is totally subjective and immediately puts people on the defensive, you focus on what you actually saw. Something like, hey, let's talk about how that guest phrased their question, and maybe we can brainstorm a few different ways we could respond. See the difference? It's objective, it's actionable, and it keeps the focus completely on growth. Now, for any of this to work, for any of these conversations to be productive, you need one essential ingredient.
You absolutely must build a foundation of trust. It is the heart and soul of the coaching relationship.
Trust isn't something that just happens overnight. It's the result of consistent, positive behaviors from a leader. It's built through respectful communication, being fair and transparent, showing a genuine interest in your team's careers, and having empathy and patience, especially when things get tough.
Because when your team trusts you, they feel safe enough to be vulnerable. That means they'll be willing to talk about their mistakes, to admit when they're not sure about something, and to ask for help. And those are the honest conversations about real challenges that lead to real breakthroughs and progress that actually sticks.
So, how do we make all this last? Well, the ultimate goal is to move beyond just having individual coaching sessions and to build an entire culture of growth where development is just a natural, normal part of the daily routine.
Think about it. If the only time an employee gets coached is when something goes wrong, what are they going to associate coaching with? Criticism, exactly. The most effective coaching is just woven into the fabric of the workday. It's about having those regular, informal check-ins that normalize feedback, that celebrate the small wins, and that keep that forward momentum going. And when you build this kind of culture, the benefits for the whole organization are just huge. Teams collaborate better because they're all supporting each other's learning. The whole place becomes more adaptable to change. Engagement shoots up because people feel seen and valued, and individuals become way more resilient because they know that making a mistake is just an opportunity to learn. Ultimately, this is what transforms a workplace. Performance improvement stops being this isolated task that gets assigned to one person. Instead, it becomes a shared journey where absolutely everyone, from leaders to frontline staff, is invested in helping each other grow and succeed.
So, I'll leave you with this question to think about. The next time you see a metric, a score, or any piece of data, I want you to challenge yourself not to just see the result. See it as the beginning of a conversation. As a future leader in this industry, how will you turn that data point into a genuine opportunity for your team to grow?